Most people pouring a glass of juice in the morning have no idea what's actually in it. Consumer Reports bought 45 juices off shelves across the country and sent them to a lab. Every single one came back with measurable heavy metals. Nearly half were at levels the organization called concerning: cadmium, lead, and inorganic arsenic, not out in the orchard, in the carton sitting in your refrigerator door right now. Here's what nobody's telling you. The organic ones tested no better than the conventional ones. The premium ones tested no better than the store brands. The bottle you pay extra for, specifically because you thought you were making the safer choice for a 4-year-old, was not a safer choice. One brand on this list has been recalled twice in 11 months for 2 different contaminants. You're going to recognize the name. We ranked these by the gap between what the brand promises and what the record actually shows, not by the number alone. All 11, counting down, then the 4 that actually hold up. Let's get into it. Number 11. Mott's. This is the default. The apple juice that has been in American refrigerators so long that most people never made a decision to buy it. They just kept buying it. Mott's is owned by Keurig Dr. Pepper. It was one of the 24 brands in the Consumer Reports panel. Here's the part that matters more than any single number. Apple juice is the most commonly consumed juice among young children in the United States. That is not a marketing fact. It's the specific reason the FDA proposed a lower lead limit for apple juice than for every other juice type. 10 parts per billion for apple, 20 for everything else. The agency wrote that lower number because they knew whose bodies it was going into. Read the front of the carton, 100% juice. Now read what that phrase actually promises. It tells you nothing was added. It tells you nothing about what was already there. Number 10. Juicy juice. The name is doing all of the work here. Juicy juice exists to reassure a parent standing in the aisle with a cart and a toddler. 100% juice, no added sugar, a cartoon on the box. It was in the Consumer Reports panel. Consumer Reports flagged something specific about format. Of the products they found elevated levels in, 5 were juice boxes or pouches, between 4 and 6.75 ounces. Small servings, the kind a child finishes in 90 seconds and then asks for another one. Their researchers said that in some cases, 4 ounces a day was enough to raise concern. 4 ounces is half a cup. It's 1 juice box. The entire product category is built around a portion size designed for children, sold in a format designed for repeat consumption, made from concentrate shipped in from wherever concentrate is cheapest that season. No added sugar is true. It's also not the question anyone should be asking. And the next brand is the one most of us drank ourselves. Number 9. Capri Sun. The silver pouch. The straw that never went in on the first try. There is genuine nostalgia attached to this product, and that nostalgia is now doing sales work on a second generation. Capri Sun was in the Consumer Reports panel. It's owned by Kraft Heinz in the United States. Start with the name on the package. Read what it says underneath. Most of the classic lineup is not juice, it's a juice drink. That distinction is a legal one, and it's the difference between a product made of fruit and a product made of water, concentrate, and sweetener that is allowed to show you a picture of fruit. The pouch matters too. A foil pouch is opaque, lightweight, and cheap to ship. It's also impossible to see through, which means the only information you have about what's inside is the information the company chose to print on the outside. Generations of parents packed these because they seemed like the healthy alternative to soda. The alternative to soda was never juice, it was water. Number 8. Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has something almost no other retailer in America has, which is genuine affection. People don't shop there. They're loyal to it. The private label isn't treated as a store brand. It's treated as a recommendation from a friend. This one is not a general concern. Consumer Reports named a specific product. A sample of Trader Joe's fresh pressed apple juice tested above 10 parts per billion for inorganic arsenic. 10 parts per billion is the threshold the FDA finalized as its action level for apple juice in June of 2023. Now look at the words on that bottle. Fresh pressed, not from concentrate. Those phrases describe how the juice was made. They are accurate. They also describe a process, and a process description cannot tell you what came in on the fruit. The apples still grew in soil. Soil is where this starts. Fresh pressed tells you the juice wasn't reconstituted. It doesn't tell you it was clean. We're 2 brands away from the ones that charge the most. Number 7. Welch's. Welch's is a farmer-owned cooperative, not a multinational, an actual co-op of grape growers. And for a lot of shoppers, that ownership structure is the whole reason for the trust. Add the antioxidant marketing, the purple carton, the 100-year history, and Welch's occupies a specific place in the American refrigerator. It's the one that feels like it's good for you. Consumer Reports named 2 Welch's products as containing lead at levels exceeding the FDA standard for bottled water. And Consumer Reports also found that of all 4 categories they tested, grape juice and juice blends carried the highest average heavy metal loads, not apple, grape. Now, here's something you should know about the study this entire investigation leans on, because it cuts against us. Consumer Reports said their results were a spot check of the market, and that they should not be used to draw definitive conclusions about specific brands. They said that themselves in the report. That's exactly why this list is not built on their numbers. It's built on recalls, on lawsuits, on ownership, on what's printed on the label, and on what these companies have chosen not to publish. The lab results tell you the category has a problem. The company records tell you who did what about it. If this is already changing how you look at that shelf, you're about a quarter of the way in. The next few are where it stops being about juice and starts being about who's actually making it. Number 6. Great value. Walmart's house brand. Nobody buys this expecting quality. They buy it because it's $4 and it's there. In August of 2024, Refresco Beverages recalled 9,535 cases of Great Value apple juice. 8-ounce bottles, 6-packs, 13.2 parts per billion of inorganic arsenic, against an action level of 10. The FDA upgraded it to a Class 2 recall 8 days later. Now here's the part that changes how you should look at every store brand in America. That recall did not stay at Walmart. Within weeks it expanded past 133,000 cases. Aldi, BJ's Wholesale, Walgreens, under the Nice label, Dollar General, under Clover Valley, Weis Markets, Market Basket, 25 states, Puerto Rico, and the District of Columbia. Different stores, different logos, different prices, different aisles in different chains that spend millions advertising against each other. One bottling plant in Tampa, Florida. Refresco doesn't own those brands. It fills them. It's a co-packer, which means retailers hand it a specification and it runs the line, which is why when one lot of concentrate went wrong, it went wrong in 7 store brands simultaneously. You weren't choosing between 7 companies. You were choosing between 7 labels on the same juice. Number 5. 365 by Whole Foods. Whole Foods built an identity on refusal, a published list of unacceptable ingredients running past 80 substances. The whole store experience communicates one message, which is that somebody here already did the screening for you. 365 everyday value was in the Consumer Reports panel, and this is where the single most important finding in that entire study lands. Consumer Reports found that organic juices were not lower in heavy metals than conventional ones. That result is not a scandal, it's chemistry. The organic standard governs what a farmer applies to a field. Arsenic, lead, and cadmium are not applied. They're already in the ground, sometimes from pesticides banned decades ago, sometimes from the geology of the region itself. A certification that regulates inputs cannot filter what was in the soil before anyone planted anything. Organic verifies how it was grown. It doesn't verify what's in the bottle. Amazon bought Whole Foods in 2017 for $13.7 billion. The seal is still on the label. The seal was never measuring this. And if you've been buying the organic one for years, specifically because you have kids, here's something worth knowing. The body clears these. Exposure is cumulative, which means it also stops accumulating the moment you stop adding to it. The next glass you pour matters more than every glass behind you. Nobody handed you this information before now. Number 4. Honest Kids. The word is in the name. Honest. Organic pouches, lower sugar than the conventional stuff, marketed directly to the parent who reads labels and is actively trying to do this right. Honest Kids was in the Consumer Reports panel. It's owned by the Coca-Cola Company. Put those two facts next to each other, and something becomes clear about how this category actually works. A parent who rejected Capri Sun on principle, who paid more, who chose organic, who chose the brand whose entire identity is transparency, ended up with a pouch owned by the largest beverage corporation on earth, in the same tested panel, in the same format, subject to the same soil. The premium was real, the protection was assumed, and this is the pattern underneath all 11 of these. Every trust signal in the juice aisle describes something other than contamination. Organic describes farming. 100% describes what wasn't added. Not from concentrate describes processing. No sugar added describes sweetener. Honest describes intent. Not one of them describes what a lab would find in the finished bottle. There is no seal on any juice in America that means somebody tested this. We're getting close to the 2 that will genuinely surprise people. Number 2 in particular. It's the one most parents believe is the safest thing in the entire refrigerator. Number 3. R.W. Knudsen. This is the health food aisle brand. Glass bottles, plain typography, the deliberately unglamorous packaging that signals a company too serious about quality to bother with marketing. People reach for Knudsen precisely because it looks like it isn't trying to sell them anything. R.W. Knudsen was in the Consumer Reports panel, and here is the specific problem with this one. Consumer Reports asked the companies behind all 45 products how they monitor heavy metals in their juice. 10 responded. 10 out of the companies representing 45 products. The rest said nothing at all. We're not claiming Knudsen's numbers are worse than anyone else's. We can't make that claim, because outside of that one panel there is no published heavy metal data for this brand that we could locate anywhere. What we can say is that a company charging a premium for a health positioning, sitting in the natural foods section, was asked a direct question about testing by the largest consumer organization in the country, and the industry's overwhelming answer was silence. They test the juice. Every one of these companies runs quality control. They just never had to tell you what it found. The bottle is glass. The typography is honest. Neither of those is a test result. Number 2. Gerber. Gerber is not a juice brand. Gerber is the baby brand. That logo has been the visual shorthand for infant safety in this country for 100 years, and it is on juice products. And those juice products were in the Consumer Reports panel. Start with what the pediatricians actually say, because it's more direct than anything a label will tell you. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that children under 1 year old should not be given juice. Any juice, not organic juice, not 100% juice, not diluted juice. None, not because of heavy metals, because juice has no nutritional advantage over whole fruit for an infant, and it displaces milk and food that they actually need. Now layer the contamination question on top of that. Consumer Reports found more than 80% of parents with children under 3 give fruit juice at least sometimes. 74% of those give it once a day or more. And in January of 2025, the FDA issued final action levels for lead in processed food made for babies and young children. 10 parts per billion for most covered foods. Juice was excluded from that guidance. The agency finalized limits for the puree and left the juice out. And it left the juice out while knowing that apple juice is the single most consumed juice among young children in America. The most protected food category in the country has a hole in it, and the hole is shaped exactly like the product parents hand over in a sippy cup. That brings us to number 1. The brand that made us question whether anything about how a bottle looks means anything at all. Number 1. Martinelli's. You know this bottle before you know the brand. Round glass, shaped like an apple, gold foil, the label that hasn't meaningfully changed in a century. Martinelli & Company has been in Watsonville, California since 1868. It's independent. It's not owned by Coca-Cola or Keurig or Amazon. This is the juice people buy for a child's birthday. It's the one that goes on the table at Thanksgiving when the kids want something that looks like the adults drink. It costs 3 or 4 times what the plastic jug costs, and people pay it because the glass is the promise. In April of 2024, Martinelli's recalled 24,519 cases of gold medal apple juice, 1-liter glass bottles, 147,000 individual units. The Maryland Department of Health had sampled a production lot and found 11.6 parts per billion of inorganic arsenic against the FDA's action level of 10. The recalled product had shipped to 34 states, Puerto Rico and Panama. Now, in fairness, and this matters, that action level is not law. It's non-binding guidance. Martinelli's exceeded it by 1.6 parts per billion and pulled 147,000 bottles anyway, voluntarily, in cooperation with the FDA. That is more than most brands on this list have ever done. And then it happened again. 11 months later, in March of 2025, Martinelli's recalled 7,234 cases of its 10-ounce glass bottles, more than 170,000 individual bottles, across 28 states. The FDA classified it Class 2 on April 22nd. This time it wasn't arsenic, it was patchoulin, a mycotoxin produced by molds that grow on rotting apples. The FDA notes that pasteurization does not remove it. The company said routine FDA testing had flagged a single lot, that it had worked with retailers to clear remaining inventory, and that no health issues had been reported. That recall was voluntary too. 2 recalls, 11 months apart, 2 different contaminants, both of them found by somebody else's laboratory. You did everything right. You skipped the pouch. You skipped the plastic. You paid 4 times the price for the glass bottle from the independent family company that has been doing this since 1868, because everything about that bottle told you it was the careful choice. The glass was a design decision. It was never a test result. Now that you know what to avoid, here are 4 that are genuinely built differently. These aren't consolation picks, and I'll tell you the awkward part before you hear it from me in a minute. 3 of these 4 have been bought by somebody bigger. What separates them isn't who owns the shares. It's that every one of them made a structural choice that costs real money and removes real risk, and kept making it after the paperwork changed. One of the 4 is still owned by the family that started it. We'll get to them. Best option number 4, Biota. Start with something most people don't know about this one. Biota has been farming organically since 1951, a decade before Switzerland had organic certification, organic seals, or organic guidelines of any kind. There was nothing to certify against. They did it anyway. The first Biota juice, organic carrot, was pressed in 1957. Every juice the company has made in the 68 years since has been organic, not a line, not a range, all of it. The not from concentrate part matters most, and shoppers understand it least. Concentrate is juice with the water boiled off, so it ships cheaply, often across oceans, often blended from several countries in one tanker, then reconstituted at a plant near you. Every step in that chain is a step where you lose the ability to say where the fruit came from. Biota grows most of its vegetables in the region around its own factory, on the south shore of Lake Constance. Then it presses and bottles them. That's the process. No artificial coloring, no preservatives, no added flavoring, and part of the range carries Demeter certification, which is the biodynamic standard and the strictest in agriculture. 2 honest problems. Biota was acquired by the Swiss food group O'Reilly in 2018. So this is no longer independent. And in the United States it's a specialty item that costs real money per ounce. Both are genuine trade-offs. Neither changed what goes in the bottle. Best option number 3, Natalie's Orchid Island. Mary Grace Sexton started this in Fort Pierce, Florida in 1989, out of a 4th-generation citrus family operation on the Indian River. It's women-founded, certified by the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, and 35 years later it's still run out of the same stretch of Florida coast. The product is close to unadorned. no concentrate, no preservatives, no additives, no added sugar. Read the ingredient panel on a bottle of Natalie's orange juice, and it says oranges. That is the entire list. Compare that to what you just read on the back of a pouch. The glass matters here too, and not for looks. Glass is inert. It doesn't leach, it doesn't need a plastic liner, and it can't be squeezed into a 4-ounce pouch built for a child to finish in 90 seconds. The format itself removes a decision you'd otherwise have to make twice a day. There's a shelf life consequence to making juice this way, and it's the tell. Natalie's has a short refrigerated life because there is nothing in it engineered to extend one. It's sold cold, it stays cold, and it turns like something that came out of fruit. That isn't a defect, that's the receipt. You should know that Perricone Farms acquired the company in September of 2024, so the independent family framing on the bottle is now a story about how it started, rather than how it's owned. The juice itself hasn't changed. Distribution is regional. Roughly 30 states, strongest across the Southeast. Best option number 2. Lakewood Organic. This is the one that's still owned by the family that started it. Fred Furman began Lakewood in 1935, running a small fruit business out of the Alapata neighborhood of Miami and delivering fruit and juice to the hotels on Miami Beach. His son Thomas took over in the late 1970s and created the fresh pressed line, which is where Lakewood's not-from-concentrate juices come from. Fred's grandson Scott is chairman and CEO today. Scott's 3 daughters are the 4th generation. 90 years, 4 generations, same family, no acquisition. The product matches the story. Everything is organic certified. Everything is in glass. No preservatives, no added sugar, nothing artificial. And the pure lines are exactly what the name says. Pure cranberry is cranberries. Not cranberry cocktail. Not cranberry from concentrate blended with apple and pear and grape to carry the cost, which is what the overwhelming majority of the cranberry category actually is. Pure black cherry is black cherries. That matters more than it sounds, because Consumer Reports found that blends carried among the highest average heavy metal loads of anything they tested. Blending is how this industry manages cost. Whatever fruit is cheapest that season gets quietly carried by whatever fruit is on the front of the label. A single fruit juice can't do that. There's nowhere to hide a cheaper input. Lakewood is tart, genuinely tart, in a way people raised on sweetened juice find surprising on the first sip. Most of the pure line is meant to be diluted, which also means one bottle goes considerably further than the shelf price suggests. You'll find it in natural grocery chains and the organic section of larger supermarkets. Best option number 1. Uncle Matt's Organic. Matt McLean started this in Claremont, Florida in 1999, from a citrus family that had been growing there for 4 generations. It's the largest selling organic orange juice brand in the country, which means this is the one recommendation on the list you can act on tonight without hunting for a specialty store. Everything is USDA organic, nothing from concentrate, no synthetic pesticides, no GMOs, and Uncle Matt's does one thing nobody else in this category does. The juice is certified glyphosate residue-free by the Detox Project, and that certification works differently from every seal we've discussed today. Think about what we've spent this whole video establishing. Organic certifies a farming practice. 100% certifies that nothing was added. Not from concentrate certifies a process. Every one of those describes a decision made before the juice existed. This one tests the finished product. It takes what's actually in the bottle, sends it to an outside laboratory, and reports the number. Now be precise about what it covers, because precision is the entire point of this video. That certification is for glyphosate. It is not a heavy metals panel. It does not tell you about arsenic, or lead, or cadmium, and any brand that let you assume otherwise would be doing exactly what the first 11 did. What it does tell you is that this company was willing to put finished product in front of an outside lab and publish the answer when no regulation required it, and no competitor was doing it. Consumer Reports asked the makers of 45 juices how they monitor contaminants and got 10 replies. Against that, A company volunteering a number is not a small thing. You should also know Uncle Matt's is no longer independent. It was acquired by Dean Foods in 2017 and has moved with those assets since. The oranges still come from Florida groves. The juice is still not from concentrate, and it's at Whole Foods, Sprouts, Publix, Kroger, and most major chains nationwide. Before you close this, here's the one rule worth keeping. For a child, whole fruit beats juice every time. An orange has the fiber, the same vitamin C, and a portion size a 4-year-old can't chug in 90 seconds. If you're buying juice anyway, buy it not from concentrate, buy it in glass, and cut it with water. That single rule removes almost every brand on the avoid list from your cart without you having to memorize a single number. Now learn what the labels actually mean, because this is the part the industry relies on you not knowing. 100% juice tells you nothing was added. Organic tells you what wasn't sprayed on the field. Not from concentrate tells you the water was never removed. No sugar added tells you about sweetener. Not one of those 4 claims describes what's in the bottle. They describe farming, processing, and formulation. Every one of them is true, and every one of them is answering a different question than the one you're asking. 3 habits do more than any seal. Skip the pouches. Skip the blends, especially grape, which tested worst of the 4 categories. And buy single fruit juice you can dilute yourself, because a blend is where cheaper fruit goes to hide. Yes, the good stuff costs more per ounce. Whole fruit costs less than both. And the pediatrician's position is that kids don't need juice at all. Here's where all of this actually ends up. The FDA proposed lowering the lead limit in juice in April of 2022. 10 parts per billion for apple, 20 for everything else. By the agency's own estimate, that change would cut children's dietary lead exposure from apple juice by up to 46%. That guidance is still marked draft, not for implementation. The docket opened in 2019. The limit that's actually on the books is 50 parts per billion, and it was set in 2004. The arsenic level took 13 years to become final. The lead level is still a draft. The labels were built to earn your trust without ever having to earn it. Now you know how to read past them. If this changed how you think about what's in that carton, passing it along to someone who packs a juice box every morning